And now there should be sound. As I was just saying to a muted microphone, I had some technical issues earlier today. There were a bunch of power outages, but now we're back up and running. I just had to restart everything right before the stream, unfortunately. And hopefully you're hearing me about now. I'm going to fix the light situation in here. And, okay. Can everybody see and hear me and all that jazz? Great. I can see that we have sound. This is from Mirror USA is Richard. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Glenn. Sounding good. Okay, great. Then I'm going to move on to doing some stuff. So what I was going to do during this stream was just digitize a tape. And I was just going to go through the whole process. I'll narrate what I'm doing. And if anyone has any questions or concerns or comments, feel free to drop them in the comments. And we'll see how it goes. So this will be, oh no, the deck's not coming through. Technical issue. That is something that I can surmount. We can surmount these technical issues. And in fact, I'm going to switch it back to just the camera for now. Dealing with technical issues and figuring them out is kind of a big part of the process of AV Archive. So you're seeing the whole thing as it happens live, which I guess was the idea. I didn't necessarily want this to be a polished experience, though maybe it should be. I'm open to any comments to that effect. Just doing some clicking. What's probably happening is that this machine is still in the process of booting up. And while it's booting up, it's a little slow. Yes, now it's responding. Yes, do the desktop. And you. Will you do what I want? You will. Okay, I think now, when I switch here, yes, you should be able to see my desktop. So this is the desktop of the Mac Mini, which is the digitization, the core of the video digitization kit that we were able to put together thanks to the Brother Help Thyself grant that we received a few years ago. And it's an Apple. It's rather old. It's kind of slow, but it's fast enough for our purposes here. And I'm going to show you how I digitize things. So what I've done here is I have the first tape from 1 in 10 People, the High 8 field recordings. So we already have digitized the full episodes. And so what we have here this is the raw footage that was shot out in the field that was used in those episodes. So the shows will be made up of two things. We'll be made up of the in-studio sequences where they're sitting in front of a stage and they're the anchor people introducing segments, and then the field recording segments, which are recorded by going out and getting footage, interviewing people. The studio stuff was all shot live to tape, so there is no existing raw footage of that. What you see on the recordings that we've digitized already is the only recording of that still exists. The field recordings they shot using a High 8 camcorder, much like this one. This is actually my personal one. This is not the one that I used, but this is this was purchased by me in 1999 or so, and it's still kicking, as you can see. And I'm using this as my playback deck. And so the first tape that we're going to do I've already started. If I'm not sure you can read this, that's something I would love if people could say, is if they can read the text that are on the screen here, because I could make it bigger. Can I make it bigger? Yes, I can make it bigger. So this is my digitization log. You can see here I've captured all the U-matic stuff I've already captured. I've written down here, so we're starting a new one. This is High 8, tape number 1. Today is July 8th, 2020. So 7, 8, 2020. I am Nathan Avan. I'm the technician. It is a 120-minute tape, so we're going to start with 120 minutes, and we'll see how much is actually on it. And I've already captured some of the information here, but this tape is labeled only, you can't see that, Act Up. That's all that's on the label. And so that's a big part of video archives, is all we have to go on until we pop in the tape is what's written on the label. It doesn't say who from Act Up might be interviewed. It was recorded on 3/5/1993. So we're going to see what we've got on this tape. So I've already put the tape in the camcorder. I'm making sure it's rewound. It was not rewound, which means that it's possible when it was recorded, or last time it was used, probably when they pulled the footage from the tape, it was not rewound. So we're rewinding back through history. It's pretty lame. So in the meantime, I'm going to prepare the software. So I use a set of open source software called vRecord. This was developed at the City University of New York in their video archive to help pull cheaply and inexpensively facilitate the digitization of analog videotapes, which is exactly what we're doing. So I'm very grateful to them for doing this. So the command is just simply vRecord. So I'll type that into the terminal, and it's going to do some thinking. And it should eventually return some options. It's really thinking. I should maybe have some music that I can bring in during moments like this, right? Oh boy. It's thinking quite a lot. Much more than usual, which may or may not be a good sign. It's thinking so much and so violently that in fact I'm going to stop it and start us over again. Oh. Great, no, now it's asking me questions. Which video input are we using? We are using the composite. And we are using analog audio. This is an NTSC recording. These are just different television standards. If you don't know, I would be happy to explain it. We're going to go with 8-bit depth here. This is the quality of the video. A 10-bit video is extremely high quality. An 8-bit video is basically normal standard definition. What we're recording here was recorded from on a camcorder in 1993. So 10-bit digitization would be an extreme overkill here. The quality of the video itself is not going to justify anything more than 8 bits. I'm going to choose 8-bit. Regular playback view, you'll see that in a moment. And our identifier is going to be I8001. And the directory, I had this prepared ahead of time, so I've prepared this directory already, 110_high8. This is where we're going to digitize this to. So I'm just copying the path and pasting it. My name will go there. And we're going to use a Matroska file. It's an archival video format. And we're going to compress it using FFV1 version 3. And we're going to use stereo audio. And we're ready to start recording. So I'm going to hit play on the camcorder and then hit enter to start recording at the same time, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully it works. Play, enter. Everything went to hell. This is a thing that happens occasionally. So, I'm just reading our error message here. I'm not entirely sure what happened, but I'm going to try it again in a different way. V-record with the option P, no, with the option E for encode. Take back to the start. See, this is all part of the process. Okay, so what this did is it brought up this configuration file, which these are all the questions that I just answered, but in the form of a user interface, and maybe this will work a little bit better for us. So I'm gonna choose the directory we're recording into. We're going to put the log files in the same directory. Composite video, composite video. It's Matroska, it's FFV1, it's 8-bit. We are going to create in the QC tools file. It is analog. What is analog audio? We are 2 tracks. Our recording time is going to be 120 minutes. Our view is going to be the quality control view. I am Nathan Avant. Let's delete this stuff that is in here from just now. That's just going to muddy up the works. Okay. Any other key to proceed? I'm going to press the enter key, and we're going to try it again. We're going to press enter and play. Just taking tape back to the beginning one more time. Enter to start recording. Now we're going to do some video. It's going to happen this time. I feel great about it. Wowzers. This is the perfect time. Even though I tested it this morning, it's the perfect time for us to do this to me, huh? Well. Okay, I think the problem is the view that I'm choosing. So I just need to, because the view I'm choosing is the MPV, and that is the what's referenced here. So let's just I'm just looking, I can't show you the screen unfortunately, but I'm looking in the manual, which is the thing you do when something like this happens. I know it's very exciting, but that's what's happening. Okay. So I need to be choosing unfiltered mode. So that's what I'll be doing from now on. Okay, so I'm going to clear my configuration file and start again. That's what's going to happen. Options for select time code. Record X is the command to clear the configuration file, so that's what I'm going to do. Record X. Waiting for it to do a thing. Yes, I do want to clear that configuration file. Okay. So we are starting over completely. I'm going to reopen the terminal. Let's make it nice and big so y'all can see it. And we're going to try again. V-record P. That. I'll try one more time. V-record E instead of P. Let's use the right command. Okay, good. Now we're back. So, we're just going to do all this again. It's all good. We can and we will do it all again. Let's delete the junk that we made. Composite, Matroska, FFV1, 8-bit. Yes. Analog audio. I am Nathan Avant. Recording time 120 minutes. Selecting view. Instead of quality control view, I'm going to do Full range visual. Let's try that one instead. Let's see if this helps us. Any other key to proceed? NTSC standard. High 8001. High 8001. Here we go. It's happening. Okay, this is all a good sign. These numbers mean that we're starting to record frames, but there's a little bit of a delay. And so we've got a delay on a delay here. And so now we can see in the window the video that we're encoding. The audio seems to be... Yeah, we don't actually have the audio of this interview. I suspect they were recording it separately into some sort of like handheld tape recorder, perhaps, not into the camera, and then they married up the audio later. So what we do have is just this, it's what we call B-roll. It's the video of them recording, looks like man on the street interviews, perhaps. My guess would be at an ACT UP protest. What you're seeing here on the screen, in case you're curious, in the upper left-hand corner is the raw video feed. This is just exactly what it looks like coming out of the camera. In the upper right-hand corner is the raw video feed, but with some additional pixels, like you can see where it gets a little fuzzy around the outside of the umbrella and in the sky here. Those fuzzy pixels are indicating places where the video is either extremely bright or extremely dark. This would let me know if I needed to adjust my deck to be brighter or darker, like if the whole thing was fuzzy like that. But this is, you know, there's always going to be hot spots in a video. This is exactly as it was shot. I think it's fine. And then these two, the left and right lower views, they're vector scopes, which are giving me information about the distribution of colors in the video. I'm not great at reading them, but what I do know is that basically what you're seeing here in the lower right, where it's kind of a fuzzy cluster around the center, that's good. That means that there's a good distribution of all of the colors that the camera was capable of capturing, and if those fuzzy dots were all over in the upper right quadrant, which is magenta, for example, then that would mean that the video it's capturing is extremely magenta, and life is not extremely magenta, so it probably wouldn't be a good sign that good things were happening with this video. So as we're seeing, everything looks really clean and nice, and you know, for a video that was recorded in 1993, like I'm very happy with this quality. It's a shame that we don't have audio, but you know, I guess you can't have everything. And the audio for the interviews that they actually used in the show, that audio should, you know, we should be able to find if they used any of these clips in the show in the recordings that we already have. So that's something. My archivist heart does wonder where these tapes might be, but you know, we only get what we get. Oh, obviously, for those of you who don't know, this is Karen Pearson Brown, who's doing this interview. She was the executive producer and the host and kind of the creative force behind 1 in 10 People. She learned about, she was one of the people that sort of was in, and I'm sure that I'm speaking out of turn here because I didn't know these people and I was not here at the time, so please correct me if I'm wrong, anyone who was. My understanding is that she kind of was in the orbit of Bart Forbes when he was heading up a number of shows at the in Northern Virginia on public access television, and there were a number of spin-offs from his show, whose name I cannot recall at this moment. That's bad. I should remember that. And this was one of them. 1 in 10 People was kind of a news magazine style, and so it was more human interest stories and long-form pieces. And I think that this seems to be footage from, my guess would be, an ACT UP action or protest in Washington, D.C. If anybody knows who these people that are being interviewed are, that would be great if you could chime in, or if you could just remember and tell me at the board meeting on Saturday. So this is, I think, what a lot of this stream is going to consist of, is watching some video go by. In the case where there's like recognizable audio, what we have here, let's just listen in on the audio a little bit. Let's see what we have right now. I'm not sure if you can hear what I can hear, but you can hear some voices. I don't think that it's the voices of the person speaking on camera. I think it's someone who was closer. Yeah, no. Yeah, so this audio is not particularly helpful. It's more noise than anything else. It's being recorded as part of the recording, but I don't think we need to hear it on stream. I wonder if I should take my camera myself off occasionally. Let's see what that would be. Yeah, I could. I mean, I certainly am happy to take myself out occasionally, so you can get a better view of what the desktop looks like, as interesting or as not interesting as that might be. It occurs to me that while you're watching this is sometimes the best time to get some notes. I just realized that she's holding condoms, so that maybe gives you a clue about what the content of this interview might be. But I'm just going to pull back up my log. I'm just going to make a note. That the audio was recorded separately. And that this is, I'm going to call this B-roll of ACT UP event protest. Field interviews. It's good to just take notes while you have it. I'm sort of the digitization process kind of forces you to watch the whole thing, so I might as well make use of that time by capturing some information about the video as it plays. For now, let's minimize that so we can get back to the video. Oh, all right. Richard wants me to come back. I think I can do that with the logo. There we go. I'm back. What do you all think of the way I use the logos here? I can show you again the sort of pre-show thing that I did. I can add any text that I want here and change that. And then the main title, this was what was on YouTube. I think they turned out pretty well. Just a little photoshopping. An incredible zoom close-up on a bag here. Aha! Condoms in the bag. It's a useful bag. And see, this is another situation where, you know, someone with experience of the city and would be really helpful, i.e. someone other than me. I suspect that there are some people who would be able to look at this footage and know where it was shot. That building in the background seems pretty distinctive to me. It seems like if I had seen it before, I might know where this was. Thank you, Richard. I appreciate the feedback on the logo. You can see some interesting things happening in the spectrograph here when they did that that zoom out shot because of the blue in the woman's pants. And now see the red in the skirt is causing it to really shoot out into the red. But obviously I can see that that's reflected in the video itself, and it's pretty explicable and normal and not a cause for concern. This is interesting. It doesn't seem like this is a mass protest action. Oh, they're handing out condoms to the public. Yes. So this is, I think it was just a story. It wasn't based around an event. I think it was based around just the existence of the ACT UP office in Washington, D.C., as I recall, from the segment. And so what I think they're doing is just recording the normal activities of ACT UP. This is probably something that they did regularly, was stake out a street corner and hand out condoms. And being in front of this building, which looks awfully churchy, was probably a pointed choice. Condom on the finger, very nice. I'd love to know more about what's going on here. Yeah, there's no audio at all on this portion of the tape, unfortunately, so it definitely was recorded separately. It's possible that they turned off the onboard microphone on the camera. . so that it wouldn't interfere with their separate audio recording, which was probably a good production choice for them to make, but you know, unfortunate for us, I suppose. Mm. It's a fantastic 90s jacket. I have a feeling that these field recordings are going to have a lot of great 90s fashion. Something I'm very much looking forward to as we get deeper into them. Okay, we seem to have transitioned into, I'm presuming these are the ACT UP offices. Yep, I think that's probably a good bet. Still no audio in this portion. But what a great little peek into history here. So when you see the video hitch a little bit like that, that is, those are some drop frames or a little bit of hitching related to the preview window that we have here. I've known from experience that it continues to play to record very smoothly onto the file itself, because the software very wisely prioritizes the actual recording over the preview window. So periodically you might see some hitches and starts, but it doesn't indicate any sort of issue with the video. Yeah, my CPU is working pretty hard, as I can see from this monitor. But that's okay. We can handle it. This is really a fantastic look. I would be interested to know who this gentleman is. Sorry for the typing on stream. I'm just doing a little bit of Googling to see if I can find out this man's name. I think YouTube Live is better than Facebook Live, just because of the options for controlling the stream are a little bit more advanced. Like being able to have these different views set up is, I don't think, something that I could do with Facebook Live. I'm using an external piece of software called OBS to handle all the different video streams and put them all together, and it is not compatible with Facebook, for example. So I could probably make something happen on Facebook, but it would be a little bit more complicated. And as you can see, this might be about as complicated as I'm able to handle. Here's a question that I had for the stream. Can you hear me okay? I'm currently using the onboard microphone on my laptop to record this. I think it might be wise, if I'm going to do this more regularly, to invest in a microphone. Do you think that it's necessary? Can you hear me? Yes, I'm in the upper. I mean, it's kind of a converted attic, but it is the upper story of my house. Why are you getting weird attic sounds, Richard? Oh, is it because of the sloping ceiling? Yes. It's a yeah. It's a converted attic where at some point somebody put bedrooms into it, and people are often kind of confused by the shape of the room behind me because it is a little bit like madness. I can understand. Oh, good. Thank you. I appreciate it. I see that you said the sound is excellent. I appreciate that. Yes, the sloping. Yep. Well, we're coming to, we're just a few minutes from the end of the scheduled time. I'm obviously not going to stop the recording. I'm going to keep this recording until the end of the tape. Um, does I guess this is a question for Richard and the rest of the chat. Would you like me to continue the stream until this tape is complete, or not? Or should we just end it at 8? Yeah, I think I agree with you, Richard. So I'll let the stream go for another couple of minutes and we'll wrap it up. But obviously, we're going to continue to encode this tape. Um, I hope this was interesting. I think that what I've learned from this stream is that um, it's going to be a little chaotic, especially when we get started, and I just sort of need to embrace that chaos because there's nothing to be done about it, and it's part of the process. So, and I think that maybe I'll write myself some talking points ahead of time, and I'll ask for some feedback at the board meeting if anyone has any suggestions. Up to and including, maybe I just need to, I don't need to fill the silence. Maybe I just need to shut up. That would be perfectly fine. So, yeah, I think we'll cut it off there. This has been fun, and I look forward to seeing and hearing some of you on Saturday. And have a lovely, lovely evening. You're welcome. Okay, goodbye.